Hello and welcome back or welcome to my little piece of the internet. I am Deana Farrell and I am known for prioritized focus, and specifically it's learning to put our priorities in alignment with really our assignment, what we've been assigned to do. And I love to bring encouragement in that realm to our faith, our life, and our business. So today's video will fall under the category of faith. I am going to bring you a story from the Bible and the Old Testament, and we're going to talk about what it has to do with us and our focus. And you get to decide if you're going to apply it to your faith, to your life, or to your business. Whether you believe in the Bible or not, I promise the story is still relevant to you. So let's go ahead and get started. I titled this, "The Frogs Are Making Me Lose My Focus," and you're going to understand why in a second. Has anything happened to you recently that has just snapped you back into putting your focus back to where it really belongs? For me, it was reading the biblical account of the 10 plagues. I know, right? Specifically, the one about the frogs. See, each morning I make it a priority to begin my day in quiet reading and reflecting something from God's Word. My own history has proven that when I begin with the right mindset, get the best encouragement possible, and start my day with truths that I can rely on, I'm less likely to wallow or wander through my day. I love this quote by Zig Ziglar. He says, "I read the paper every day and the Bible every day. That way, I know what both sides are up to." Now, while most of us don't read the paper every day, we mostly get our news either this way or from our television. But the sentiment is still the same. So you're probably curious about the frogs and what on earth they have to do with losing focus. Rightly so. This is not a combination that I would have connected for myself either. But to get the context, we have to go back. And by back, I mean way back. So I'm going to give you my, we'll say, post-it note version of the story that we're going to look at today. So the part that I'll get to explaining is found in the book of Exodus, and it's in chapter 8. That's going to be where our application for our real life today, and you get to decide if you're going to apply it to your faith, your life, or your business. But to give you a little bit of backstory, we have to first look at Exodus chapter 7. And no worries if you don't feel like looking it up and going there yourself. It's fine. I got you. This is what I like to call Deana's post-it note version of the backstory of the story. So our characters are God, Moses, and this is pre-10 commandments, the Pharaoh of Egypt. So by today's standards, this would be equivalent to a king, a president, a ruler, emperor, that kind of thing. And the Israelites. These are the captive slaves of Egypt at the time. This is kind of when they, I don't know, before they became known as, well, I call them the Mizraelites. And I can surely relate if you read any biblical account of the Israelites and their plight. Yeah, it is relevant to us today. I would be considered a Mizraelite for sure. Okay, so here's where our story picks up. So God says, Moses, you and your brother are going to go to the Pharaoh and tell him to let the Israelites go. Moses, okay, God. What do I say? And how's this going to go down? God responds, I'll tell you exactly what to say and what to do. But here's the thing, Mo. He's not going to do it. Even when he sees for himself all the miracles that I'm about to throw down, he's not going to listen to you. The result is going to be pretty consequential for his people, and they're going to know who I am and that I mean what I say. And in this case, it's I said, let my people go. Okay. So Moses and his brother Aaron go to the Pharaoh. Moses is in front of the Pharaoh and says, Pharaoh, I'm telling you, if you don't let God's people go, some really bad things are coming your way. Here's what the Pharaoh does. Nothing. He doesn't say or do anything. And this is right after seeing the very first plague happen right before his eyes. As a matter of fact, he walks away and gets mad. And here's where we pick up with the frogs and lost focus. Okay, onto the frogs and what do they have to do with focus? But first, you need to know that by now, Egypt has experienced the first plague. Not only did Moses warn the Pharaoh that it was coming if he didn't let the people go, it was actually performed right in front of him. So plague number 1, for the curious ones, was that all the water turned to blood. Whoa, could you imagine? And if you really want to see the details of all of this, you can go check out Exodus chapter 7, verse 21. I'll just tell you that it was so bad that the Egyptians started digging holes in hopes of finding fresh drinking water. 7 days later, God tells Moses, go back to Pharaoh and give him the opportunity to let the Israelites go. Okay, spoiler alert, there's 10 plagues recorded. So what do you think the Pharaoh chose to do? Exactly, nothing. So release plague number 2, the frogs. This time, Pharaoh seems to have what it seems like some wisdom. He calls Moses back. And for the record, Moses gave the exact details about plague number 2, the frogs. So the Pharaoh had fair warning that the frogs were coming. And based on plague number 1 experience, he should have had no doubts that frogs were in his future. So Moses answers the Pharaoh's call to come back after the release of plague number 2, the frogs. In just a few verses, I have found some rich lessons for us when it comes to where we can, where we should, and should not put our focus when mounds of pesky frogs have been dumped into our paths of progress. So this comes from, and I love this, and I hope that you're going to love this too. In just a few short verses, look what we get. I really want you to lean into this part because, friends, this is so much for us, okay? Exodus chapter 8, verses 8 through 10. And there's lessons in each one. And I'm going to break it down for you, okay? So verse 8 says, Pharaoh summoned Moses and Aaron, his brother, and said, pray to the Lord to take the frogs away from my people and I'll let your people go to offer sacrifices to the Lord. There's 3 lessons in this verse for us. Lesson number 1, call on who can help you. Here, Pharaoh is drowning in frogs at this point. He's got a serious problem, and it's by way of frogs. So what does he do? He calls on somebody who he knows can help him. Lesson number 1, call on somebody that can help you. He calls Moses. Lesson number 2, tell them what you want them to do. Pharaoh says, pray to take the frogs away. Lesson number 3, reward them for helping you. What did Pharaoh say would happen? Listen, if you pray to take the frogs away, I'll let your people go. So just in this short little exchange, there's 3 lessons for us. Call when you need help. Know who to call when you need the help. And call on someone who could actually help you. Lesson number 2, tell them what you want them to do. How often do we just say, I need help? Okay, what do you need help with? How can I help you? Right? And 3, reward them for helping you. But wait, there's more. Verse 9, Moses said to Pharaoh, I leave to you the honor of setting the time for me to pray for you and your officials and your people, that you and your houses may be rid of this problem, frogs, except for those that remain in the Nile. Obviously, we want to leave those frogs there because that's where they belong. There's 2 lessons in this verse. Lesson number 1, respond to the need for help with respect. Moses was so smart here. There's such good leadership lessons in here. Moses could have walked in there and be like, dude, I told you this was going to happen, but no, you didn't want to listen. Now you want me to pray for these frogs to go away. You know, a little busy, got some things to do. So maybe next Tuesday, we'll see what happens. So smart. Moses responds with respect, which I can't imagine how he personally felt about the Pharaoh holding these people, his people, God's people, captive as slaves. He says, I leave you the honor. When would you like me to pray for you and your officials and your people that you want to be rid of these frogs? Let me know. Lesson number 2, give the recipient control. Moses gave him a time frame. How soon do you want to relieve this pain? There's a business lesson in here for us entrepreneurs. Those of us who get so caught up in pricing our products and our services. We get so caught up in, oh, they called me for help. How do you want me to help you? I want to help you. Oh, I need help with this. What's it going to cost? I don't know. How much do you want to pay? What should it be? Right? If you get caught up in that, how soon do you want to relieve the pain? There's value in that. See, these are such great lessons. But wait, we have another verse and more lessons. This is awesome. I love it. And this part kills me. And we fall into this category so often. So Moses leaves him with the balls in his court, right? I leave you the honor. You set the time that you want me to pray for you and your officials and your people, that you and your houses may be rid of the frogs, this plague, this problem, this pain. Verse 10. I pray that we are not. Verse 10. Tomorrow, Pharaoh said. Moses replies, it will be as you say, so that you may know that there is no one like the Lord our God. Here's the lesson. Number 1, don't hold on to the frogs longer than you have to. You ask for help. The help came. The help responded with respect and said, hey, when do you want this pain relieved? And then you come back with tomorrow. But isn't that like us? Sometimes we want to hang on to our problems because they're a part of our identity. They're a part of, oh, but what will happen if this problem is gone? Then I'm going to have to step up and hold my end of the bargain. I bet that's probably what Pharaoh was thinking. He had this hold. He had the Israelites as captives, as slaves. As soon as he relieves his personal problem, these frogs, he now has to let go of that control that he had. So many of us don't want to do that. So what do? We procrastinate. Tomorrow. I'll take care of it tomorrow. Yeah, I know where the help is. I know what I need to do. I know who can help me. I know how much it's going to cost me, but lesson number 2, as the helper, resist imposing your choice of course or action. Like what I just did there. I went nuts saying how the Pharaoh is saying tomorrow, how we say tomorrow. Why are you not handling it today? Crazy, right? So this is so much for us. These plagues, these problems, frogs, problems. And in 3 short verses, there's 7 lessons there. Telling you, I get fired up about God's word and the lessons that are in there, and so much that we're missing. These are just little pieces. Could you imagine? There's so much more in there. So there's a $1 million question that you need to answer for yourself. Actually, it's 3 questions. And it's basically question number 1. Are the frogs making you lose your focus? Or is it your lack of willingness to take action on the solution? Is the problem really the problem, or your failure to take action on what you know would solve the problem? Question number 2. How many times have we been given warning signs of potential disastrous outcomes if not heeded? You don't eat right and exercise, what's going to happen to your health? It's not going to get better. If you don't consistently show up in your business, what's going to happen to it? If you consistently run to God in prayer when it's an emergency, how are you going to recognize when he answers prayer if you're not in alignment with his will, his word, and what he's actually promised? How are you going to recognize it? Question 3. What consequences have we suffered both in not heeding the warnings or taking action to the solution? Listen, this is as much for me as it is for anybody. And my thing is, these are all personal to me. These are all for me. But I also know that I'm meant to share it as encouragement, not condemnation, not, well, the Bible tells us just do this. You're not listening. I'm not listening either. That's why I get so excited when I find lessons and tidbits and little pieces like this, because it's so important. There's more like this, that it just proves time and time again, God's word really does have the answer. It's up to us to get proactive. So in that, are you ready to name your frogs that are blocking your path? Who are the helpers that you can call on and actually help you take action and getting rid of those frogs? See, paying attention to finding solutions more than our frogs, our problems, in our way is certainly a fantastic start. And honestly, it will most likely help us avoid the 9 other plagues that could be in store when we get caught losing our focus. And listen, I am fighting the frogs in the way of my focus right there with you. If you want to reach out to me personally, I would love to hear from you. You can email me at deana@deanafarrell.com. There is a blog version of this video. There's also a podcast version of this if you'd like to listen to. I will put those in the notes here, and I hope that this helped you. If it has, by all means, share it out. If you're not already subscribed, I would love for you to do that as well. Have a great day, and let's avoid the other plagues that are out there for us. Let's learn our lessons, shall we?